Yo, morning. Good morning, freedom marchers. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're in the world. It's Tyrus Bane, and this is Freedom's March, the channel where we march towards freedom. And I want to do a quick live stream before I do my workout. Call this a pre-workout stream, where I just want to talk about a couple things. And I wanted to do this on my computer, but it took a shit on me. So these fucking computers, man. I paid $1,600 for this gaming laptop, and it just, giving me problems anyway. Habakai was good. No, I have not seen the riots in Sri Lanka. They just stormed the president's house. Good for them. Was their president being a tyrant? Because if so, he probably deserved that. Anyway, I'm not going to say that we should storm anything, but if we seem to be the only country where we have this much tyranny going on, well, not the only country. Let me take that back. But there are countries out there where if their leaders have clear tyranny going on, they will go out there and fucking do what they got to do. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, Shah Killers was good. Robert Habakai. I just want to talk about Shinzo Abe's assassination real quick. I don't know too much about him, but I do know that he was pretty much, when he was in charge of Japan, he was kind of like a nationalist, kind of like he was probably like the Donald Trump of Japan. He was assassinated. But I wanted to talk about in a country like they like to compare the United States, well, not compare, but they like for us to look at Japan as a place where we can see where gun control keeps everybody in Japan safe and no one ever dies in Japan. People in Japan live through have eternal life, because of, the amount of gun control there. But, the person that killed Shinzo Abe, right, during his speech, he made his gun at home. He used a homemade firearm. And, that goes to show you when people are determined to do bad things, right? When they are determined to use any tool whatsoever that they can get their hands on to commit such acts, to commit crime, to kill people, they're going to find a way to do it. This dude did that, man. Made a homemade gun and was able to go out there and kill a former prime minister of Japan, which is basically the president for Japan. So, I mean, but they're not going to talk about that on mainstream media. I mean, some outlets have talked about how in a country where they have some of the strictest gun control, they were able to kill a freaking prime minister. You know what I'm saying? So that goes to show you that when people want to do what they want to do, they're going to find the means to do it. And Japan is not completely crime-free. The people die in Japan. People are murdered all the time. And matter of fact, Japan has one of the highest suicide rates in the world. You understand what I'm saying? One of the highest suicide rates. And so that goes to show you that the human condition pretty much overrules any level of prevention of the taking of life, right? So let's say you want to try your hardest to prevent murder and all that other shit. you the best thing you could do is to empower yourself and ensure that you have the means to defend yourself against someone who would harm you, right? But when whole government entities and all that other shit try to act like that they want to prevent everybody else from dying and they want to prevent crime and all that other shit, doesn't really work out because they can't be everywhere at once. They can't protect every human being in the world, right? So the best thing you could do is empower the people to do it themselves. Exactly. If someone wants to kill, they're going to do it, right? It's just a matter of the person that they want to kill. Do they have the means to stop that from happening to them, right? That's the best way to do it. The best thing to do is to give the people the ability to arm themselves and defend themselves against any attacker. Level the playing field. As a matter of fact, I want it to be lopsided, right? For the victim or for the potential victim. So any person that would be the potential victim, they need to have the capability of overpowering and outgunning the individual that would attack them, right? So they need any means necessary to do so. But these governments, they want to take away those means, right? And what I like is right now, and we'll see how far this goes, right? Because of the Brewer case ruling, a lot of these gun control laws are being challenged right at this very moment. And one of those challenges are to the NFA. So I forgot which organization is challenging the NFA. Y'all know the National Firearms Act, right? Which was enacted in 1934. What that did create a list of firearms that weren't prohibited per se, right? So that they could stay in keeping, so they could try to act like they are staying in keeping with the Second Amendment or the Constitution. They created a National Firearms Act list of weapons that would be heavily taxed for you to obtain it. So it's regulated and taxed. And the means to obtain that license, basically, you need to pay taxes that are so absorbent that most people aren't going to be able to afford it. So that's how they try to make do these workarounds to restrict your right to keep and bear arms without saying that it's restricted. They say it's regulated so that they can get away with this shit. And the court at the time in 1934, when they created the NFA, fell for that shit. So now it's being challenged because of the Brewer case ruling by the Supreme Court. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll see if the lower courts will even entertain it. But based on the ruling, they have to actually throw that shit out, right? But we'll see what happens. But see, when they act like they're giving you these freedoms, they always find ways to allow lawmakers to work some shit in there, right? Like when they did this ruling, the Supreme Court for the Brewing case, Clarence Thomas was basically like, look, man, y'all tripping. Y'all need to knock this shit off. There should, he basically said that any law against a person's rights to keep bear arms is an infringement. But then Kavanaugh went in there and fucked it up, talking about, oh, well, you can still do your permitting process, blah, 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 but you have to remove the good cause and all this other shit. It's bullshit. But y'all know what's up. But Shinzo Abe, that assassination shows you that you cannot legislate evil, right? I know that's a cliche, but it's a truism, right? No law that you can create is going to stop people from committing crimes. No laws are going to do that. A law is a fucking paper tiger. You know what I'm saying? What would really prevent it is, like I said, to empower the people. And that's just basically, I'm going to stay on that, and that is what it is. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That goes to show you what happened with PM Abe. No one is really safe from a potential attack, right? The best thing you can do is to train and stay armed up and defend yourself. Be ready to defend your life against any attacker. And the government just needs to fucking let up and say, you know what, there's nothing we can do to protect you. We can't protect you. We can't protect every human being. So go out there and pick up a fucking gun and make sure you can defend yourself. So that's essentially what I want to talk about with this Shinzo Abe thing. I don't really care, you know what I'm saying? Even when you go to restaurants, make sure you analyze it. Yeah. You know, people were talking about, I forgot what, I think it was on Facebook, or one of these Facebook groups that I'm part of. We're talking about situational awareness because, oh, you know what? It was this Icy Mike character from Hard to Kill. He was talking about situational awareness and how just telling someone to have situational awareness is dangerous. But, you know, anybody that has some sense, that knows anything about situational awareness and how to practice that and hone it and drill it, is not just going to tell somebody, I'll just have situational awareness without explaining how to actually have situational awareness. You know, just saying it is not going to help. They're not even going to know what you're talking about. Most people, when you say have situational awareness, they're just going to be like, well, what does that mean? Well, then that's when you explain it, right? Anyway, some people think that if you are always aware, no matter where you are, right? Like going to a restaurant and knowing where your exits are, points of egress, points of ingress, you know, spotting anomalies, checking out someone's, you know, weird behavior, all that type of shit. They think it's overly paranoid and all this other type of shit, and is basically PTSD type shit. But really, it's not, man. You just like, oh yeah, well, sitting. When I go to a restaurant, right, and no one taught me this. No one taught me this, but it's just something that was innate in me as I got older. You know, because of shit that I went through in my life, I was able to kind of practice this and instill it in my own life just based on experiences, right? Before I even went to the military. And when I went to the military, well, it kind of expounded on my knowledge of situational awareness. But when I had this initial situational awareness, I didn't even know what the fuck it was. I just knew when I went into a certain place that I was unfamiliar with, you know, and it's public, you know, I made sure that I did not sit with my back to any doors, any windows, you know, all that type of shit. That's just something that, I developed on my own, right? But as far as spotting someone's behavior and maybe seeing something that's out of place, which is basically what situational awareness is, right? Is their behavior out of place? Are they being overly aggressive? Are they fidgeting? What are they doing? What are they doing with their feet? What are they doing with their hands? Are they advancing on you while they're talking aggressively? All that type of shit. It's something that should be natural, right? And just because you have that awareness doesn't mean you're paranoid. It just means that, look, I'm just being careful, right? But in a situation like restaurants, you have to have your back towards windows. No, you don't have to have your back toward the window. No, you can sit. It just depends. It depends on what type of restaurant it is, the layout, all that type of shit. Or it just depends. But anyway, I'm basically saying having situational awareness is important. And if you're paranoid, that just means you're overly aware. You're just extremely aware. As long as you're cool with it, you know, you don't be jumpy, and don't be the person who's a subject of someone else's situational awareness while you're trying to exercise your situational awareness, because you don't want to bring undue attention to yourself. Yeah, windows are everywhere in some places, but there are always going to be at least one section of wall that don't have windows, and sometimes you won't be able to have that. So the best thing you can do is make sure that you don't have your back to a door, right? If you can't avoid having your back to a window, make sure you don't have your back to a door, and just make sure that you're looking around, your head's on a swivel at all times. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being aware. Anyway, what time is it? I got about 10 minutes before I get off of here. 5-10 minutes. But excuse me. I was supposed to be on a lot earlier and a little bit longer because my computer's acting up, and I got somebody coming out today, hopefully, to fix it. But we'll see. Fucking things. I'm not tech savvy at all. I wish I was. Anyway, and so I don't understand this, man. When I just want to talk to you guys about real quick about your so-called representatives and your leaders, your politicians, your city council people, and all these people, how they're really not, they really don't serve you, right? I mean, you pay their salaries, and they swore to serve you and to defend the Constitution and all this type of shit, but they don't really serve your needs, right? Because one example of that was what happened in North Dakota with Bill Gates, right? Now, Bill Gates is tied to a company that bought 2,100 acres. Well, not bought, but they were just given the legal okay to buy 2,100 acres of land in North Dakota. And the people of North Dakota are pissed. They're pissed off. Now, if these individuals, right, like the politicians in North Dakota, if they really cared about your interest and served your interest, or served the interest of the people in South Dakota, then the people would not be pissed about Bill Gates buying up land. You understand what I'm saying? 2,100 acres, because if the politicians or representatives, so-called representatives in North Dakota actually gave a shit about their people, then Bill Gates wouldn't be able to buy shit. And so now let's just talk about real quick how first of all, the government, you should not have to seek permission from the government to buy land. Let's just say that. But if things were as they should be, Bill Gates wouldn't have the means to buy 2,100 acres of land in North Dakota. You understand what I'm saying? Because the reason he is as wealthy and powerful as he is because of government. You understand what I'm saying? Because of government, he is as powerful and as wealthy, and his influence is as far-reaching as it is because of government. So he wouldn't even be in a position to be able to buy 2,100 acres of land in North Dakota. No one would be able to, right? Right? If things were as they should be, why would you even have a need to buy land? Y'all saw the map that I put up. Y'all saw the map that I put up in the thumbnail. The map in the thumbnail, those blue areas on the map, that map shows where Bill Gates has all his land. It's all over the fucking country. Why does one man have so much land in different parts of the country. If things were as they should be, if we lived in a society where government did not rule, right, then he would not have the capability to do that. You understand what I'm saying? Because of government, he has gotten as wealthy as he is through subsidies, through manipulations, through lobbying, all this type of shit. He would not be in this position. No one would be in a position to be able to buy that much land anywhere, right? I mean, the idea of even buying land and it being yours, you know what I'm saying? Because this is how I look at it. I'm not saying that people shouldn't be able to have land, but I believe that the land doesn't belong to anyone. And it, at the same time, it belongs to everyone. So if it belongs to everyone, it belongs to no one, right? Just like if everybody's perfect, no one is perfect. In that same vein. So if the land belongs to everyone, it belongs to no one. So what that means is, if you go to an area and there's land there, and there's no one else around, and it's unoccupied, and you have every right to set up in that area and stake a claim in that area of land, as long as you're able to maintain it, defend it, all that type of shit, right? If you, let's say you picked out a plot of land somewhere, that's maybe like an acre or something like that. You build a cabin or whatever, and you put up some fencing, all that type of shit, and you haven't been challenged. No one came to challenge you. Say, oh, no, you can't do that. Hell, as long as you're able to, once you build that cabin and you build that fence and you establish a border around your land, okay, well, it's yours in essence until someone challenges you and can take it up off you. You understand what I'm saying? So if you own that land, you better be able to, if you are on that land and you're staking a claim on that land, then you better be ready to defend it or have the capability of defending it. But one thing you don't need is government permission to build on that land and raise animals on that land, or have a garden on that land, or hunt and fish on that land. That's not something that you need permission from the government for. You understand what I'm saying? So Bill Gates would not be able to defend 236,000 acres of land. You understand what I'm saying? He would not be able to do that. But if him and a group of people were able to, people that he was associated with, right, partners with or whatever, if they had 236,000 acres of land together, it's still not Bill Gates' land, right? He'll have a section of land where he exists, and then his partner will have a section of land where he exists, and his other partner, and so forth and so on. So it's all that 236,000 acres of land would not just be Bill Gates, because he would not be able to, on his own, defend that and protect it and maintain it. He would need tens of thousands of people for that. So basically, it would be those tens of thousands of people's 236,000 acres of land. You understand what I'm saying? So Bill Gates is bullshit. Y'all, I don't understand. I don't understand why. What is he gonna do with all that? I have some theories and ideas. He wants people to eat crickets, and he wants people to be off meat, and to be on crickets and be vegan and all this type of shit. So I feel like he's going to use those 236,000 acres of land for monocropping, which is very, very harmful to plant species, right? It is, because if you don't have variety in the things that you're growing, right? If you're monocropping and it's all one type of fucking thing, and you're not, there's no diversification in your shit, in your crops, then you're basically going to fucking phase out all those other varieties of crops. right? And that's what the issue is with all this. When all these big farms and all these big corporate farms and all this type of shit, they're doing all this monocropping. Well, then they're using up all this land to grow one type of plant or one type of vegetable, one type of fruit, and it phases out and it outcompetes other varieties of species, and that's a big problem. So, and that's just what it is. Now, when we were hunting and gathering, we didn't necessarily farm anything. We would just go out and hunt and gather, right? And so things stayed wild, right? Naturally, things would be able to grow, and there would be natural diversification in all these species. But once they started farming, now if you want to farm for your own household, that's not a problem, because you're staking out one little piece and you have your own little garden that's big enough to feed your family, right? But once you start trying to provide that level of cropping for entire states or entire nations, then you have a problem. So that's what I think. I think Bill Gates is going to try to monocrop. He's going to do all this, genetically modified organisms. He's going to have cricket farms and roach milk farms and all this type of shit. And, given his influence and given how these people are trying to be green, this all the type of shit, and they're trying to reduce methane and all this, they're gonna try to get rid of all the meat providing animals and force you to have a diet of cricket milk, roach milk, one type of apple, one type of fucking orange, one type of fucking peach, one type of fucking kiwi. Like that's just what it is. Something that he'll be able to ensure that he has control over, right? It's just hey, that's how I see it. So, I mean, we'll see what happens, man. But I gotta get out of here. Yeah, unfortunately, it's unfortunate. I just closed on a house on the 5th, and I'm the only reason I actually bought a house is because I'm tired of paying rent and paying somebody else's mortgage. People that tell you, oh, buying a house isn't a good investment, blah, blah, blah. Renting a house is definitely not a good investment. So at least with a house, if you gain equity, boom, it is, you can get some money out of it. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I bought a house on 1 acre, and I'm just looking at all the taxes and all this type of shit, and the government having their fucking hands in my shit. It's just very upsetting. Like let's say I was told that in September, right, I need to get all the documentation. I need to show that I'm actually living at the house. So I have to have, utilities, the car registration, all this type of shit. Needs to have my new address on there, so that when the government, when the state, or when the county goes to assess my taxes, they don't raise my taxes to $10,000 a month. You understand what I'm saying? Or $10,000 a year, right? $10,000 a year, because they'll see it as, oh well, he's not living at the property, so it's income property, so we're going to tax the shit out of him. You understand what I'm saying? And then I got a van. I had to get a new van a couple months ago, and I paid state taxes at the time when I got the van. Well, then the county sent me a fucking bill for $1,100 because I bought a fucking car and I got I got hit with fucking the taxes. The county sent me some fucking taxes that I got to pay. It's $1,100 for this school, for that, for this, that, and the third. The breakdown is just ridiculous. Like, how many times and through how many means is the fucking county going to fucking tax you? It's fucking ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. Like, what? I paid taxes when I fucking got the car. Now you telling me that I got to pay some more taxes? You see what I'm saying? Just to have a fucking car that I paid for that I can drive around. You see what I'm saying? It's all bullshit. Yeah, I left LA. I left LA for a lot of reasons. You know, but that's how they get the money about you, man. You know, that's how they get the money about you. I had no idea that I was going to get taxed again. So I'm gonna have to hit them up like, look, what y'all taxing me this for? No, you don't own the land. Exactly. Because you're paying property taxes. Why am I paying the county and the state property taxes when this is my shit? Why am I paying you taxes? Why am I paying you to be able to stay on my fucking my own land? So I own an acre of land with a house on it, but I don't own it, right? But if I sell it, yeah, I can get some money up out of it if there's equity, but I don't really own it, right? Because I'm not fucking, I have to pay these motherfuckers property taxes. Unless I'm a 100% disabled veteran, which I don't have to pay property taxes. And at that point, yeah, you might say, yeah, you're a fucking, you own the land now, right? Because either you're a retiree or you're a 100% disabled veteran. At that point, I could fucking get tax exempted. But at the same time, you really don't own it because of eminent domain. So if they felt like, for whatever reason, they need to take that from me, then they'd give me some compensation, and then I have to get up out of there. You understand what I'm saying? With that in mind, you still don't own it. You understand what I'm saying? If they can on a whim take your shit and just throw you some little chump change, you don't own it, right? If you own it, then if you say, nah, I don't want to sell it, or no, I don't want to get up out of here because it's mine. And at that point, if they can say, well, no, we're the government and we have eminent domain and you got to go and you got to take this money, you don't own the shit. You know what I'm saying? But I wonder if that applies to Bill Gates. Do they have eminent domain over Bill Gates' land? That's the question. Anyway, I got to get out of here, y'all. In some counties, in some states, yeah, in some states, if you're 100% disabled or even 90% or whatever, if you're over a certain percentage in some states, in some counties, you don't have to pay property taxes. So anyway, I gotta get out of here. Much love, like, share, subscribe, and yeah, just stay up on top of things, man. I know it's been a while since I've done a live stream. It's just because I'm buying this house. Well, I bought the house and I'm going through a lot of shit in regards to that and other things. But anyway, holla at y'all later. Y'all stay up and let's keep marching forward to our freedom. Peace.